archaeology. Get out of there, Dan.
That was not the smoothest intro ever.
All right, so we're live then? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, just for our listeners, before we officially start the show, we need to do our audio check here. And we're still getting some weird...
crunching noises?
Yeah, some weird scratchy noises.
Wait, let me...
The audio actually sounds good, but it sounds scratchy. I'm not really sure why.
You know what's crazy? We've actually, at least the YouTube side's been gaining, like... This is the first time in a long time that I've seen multiple people subscribe to my channel in like a week.
Some weird what?
Like, normally it's like one subscriber gets added like a month.
Huh.
This is like the first time forever where it's been like, actually like multiple people subscribing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
One of these days I will be up to 200 subscribers.
Nice. Nice. Well, I don't know what's up with that little bit of that I can hear in the audio. Sorry about that. We've tried everything. Care? No, I don't think so. Honestly, the audio actually sounds halfway decent, so you know, it sounds good. But this is, you call this archaeology. What the hell episode is this? 18?
Oh 19? My God, it is 18.
18. And you're listening to this on the Archaeology Podcast Network Facebook page, the Archaeology Podcast Network audio feed at some point in the future.
And you're listening, and you're watching it on the Happy Archaeology Funtime channel.
That's right. So like, subscribe, and share all the places that you found it.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I don't know if anybody is a glutton for punishment and is watching these after the fact, is watching these later on, but feel free to leave comments if you watch it later on, because we will respond to those.
Yeah.
Because we can see them, so...
Although the only interaction I've gotten is some dude trying to get me in India, trying to get me to call him.
Nice, nice. That works. Yeah, and I apologize in advance also for Richie's crunching sounds. I will be editing those out of the audio version. So,
nice.
there's a Pringle filter, I think, that I've learned about.
Wait, really?
No.
Oh.
But I can isolate that noise sound and remove it mostly.
Sure.
Yeah, I can do that, and I learned how to do that by being nearly a graduate of the podcast engineering school. We've got one more class on Tuesday.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and then we've got, I think there's a class project that I think we're kind of putting together after that class, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be like a podcast, basically. I don't know what he does with it, but it's, we've been recording little snippets of audio as part of our homework every week, and then all this, I don't know, he hasn't told us exactly what's going on, so I don't actually know what's going to happen with it, but after that, we'll have certificates, and I'll be a certified podcast audio engineer.
Ooh.
So there you go.
My God, you can start working as like, well, I mean, you're already working as it, but, you know, for other people.
Yeah, and I want to do that. My first step towards doing that, and this gets into... I love that this is called, you call this archaeology, because, you know, we talk about what we did this week, and people are amazed that, hey, you're archaeologists and you're doing this kind of stuff. So one of the things I finally got done this week, because I've been waiting to do it, I've had the presentation, I've given the class probably 4 or 5 times now, but my intro to podcasting class, it's called Introduction to Podcasting Basics, and I've got the presentation ready to go, and finally I used the big makerspace we have over here. I set my computer up, and I'm using an app called ScreenFlow on the computer that allows me to...
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it allows me to record my face and from the webcam while doing the presentation, and then there's a ton of functionality for just editing. I thought I was going to have to take all that audio and video, bring it over to like Adobe Premiere, and then add some stuff, but no, you can do it all in ScreenFlow. It's pretty amazing. If you want to do any like special effects or anything, you can't obviously do that.
Yeah.
But you can bring other stuff in and build your tracks and put all your things together and do amazing stuff and make it look great.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it sounded really good. I used this new Zoom H6 as the... and
now there's all the static.
As the audio? I know, right? Now there's the static. But I used that as the audio, and it worked really well. And it's up. That's the free course. It clocks in at just under an hour.
Yeah.
And it's everything you need to know to get you off the fence for podcasting. So if you happen to be listening to this and you're considering doing a podcast on your own, whether it's archaeology or not, then this would be a good thing for you to take a look at, because it'll tell you all the stuff you need to know. Not necessarily need to know, because that's going to dive into the weeds of my workshop that I'm working on now. But
is that the name of it?
What's that?
Is that the name of it?
Well, the podcast workshop will be the name of it.
Oh.
Yeah, but the class basically takes you from, here's what you need as far as equipment and website and stuff like that. Some basics on what you're going to need to do to get started and what you're basically going to need to do to keep it going. It's all the information you need to make the decision to start a podcast. It's not going to help you start a podcast. It's going to help you make that decision.
Yeah.
The workshop, which I'll have up online, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, will actually get you your first podcast.
Ooh.
It'll be able to take anybody from someone who doesn't know anything from 0 to MP3 in about 7 or 8 hours.
And for people who think it's complicated, just imagine the old days when Hourglass was still starting it out, and you had to you had to have the giant, not even the little hand recorders, but the giant ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's super easy these days. And now, so I bought this Zoom H6, and really what this is a personal field recorder, but it's also a up to 6 track studio recorder. And so what we're going to do, combined with this mixer, these mics, probably another mic, we're getting a new table in here probably the next few days. Ooh. And it's going to be able to, for 3 people to comfortably podcast in here, bringing in as many remote guests as they want. But with this H6 and that mixer and these mics, all you need to do as a consumer is bring in your SD card, sit down, record, and go home when you're done. Bring your card and your files with you.
And with 6 tracks, you can even bring in, you can bring in sound effects, you can bring in people on phone.
You can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So, so we're going to have some tutorials and stuff on that. But that's what I love about where archaeology's taken me. It's, I just, when I was just recording that presentation, I was updating the, and Mark Silver from the CAP is watching. How's it going, Mark?
Hey there.
But when I was just doing some updating of the presentation before, I always go in and update some of the numbers from the APN I've got in there and things like that before I give the class again. Yeah. But now it's on YouTube, so I can't update it ever again. So now it's locked in place to Friday, March 11th or whatever it is. Ooh. But check this out. Today is the 11th. Oh, so it was yesterday they did this. I went back and looked. The very first podcast I ever did, that crappy one I tell people about, that was just me reading Google News stories for a year. Once a week for a year.
I listened to that for a while.
Well, that first episode debuted November 19th, 2011.
Wow.
6 years ago. 6 years ago in a week. Yeah, and I've been podcasting every week ever since.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
that means 5 years ago we were talking about what would become the CRM Archaeology podcast. We were going down to 395.
Yes, the CRM Archaeology podcast started, let's see, if I started this one on November 11th, that means it went a little over a year, because the first episode of the CRM Arc podcast, which is what that one became, I started the numbering. I knew it was going to be such a different show. I started the numbering over again and everything. And I wasn't just transitioning that show. I mean, I literally ended that one and started a new show. And that, I don't know the exact date, but it was February of 2012. So, or no, it would have been 2013. Because I went all of 2012 doing the CRM News Weekly is what I called it, and then 2012. So, and my icon for it was horrific. I created it using Graphic on the iPad when Graphic wasn't very good, and I wasn't very good, and it looks terrible. But it's an original Graphic.
Ooh.
So, wow. Anyway,
It hardly seems that long ago that we were on the 395.
I know, and this is a project we're talking about on a highway that goes between. Actually, it goes from Canada to Mexico.
It's one of those projects no one wants to take credit for being on.
I know, right? Yeah. It's not quite as bad as the Ruby or the pipeline, the Rex East pipeline, or something like that. Yeah.
Like, you haven't been in CRM unless you've been either on the Rex or the Ruby.
And we've been on both. Yeah, I was only on the Rex for a little bit, part of the phase 2.
Oh, and what's that other one? Oh my god. Shoot. Oh my god, it's gonna bug me now. The Cortez.
Yeah, and I was never on that.
Neither was I.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so what do you got going on this week?
Oh my god. You know what the craziest part is? I never thought I'd be using all the skills that I learned as an archaeologist, the job hunting and job maintaining and life maintaining skills for regular work, which is what I am doing right now. I'm officially on a war footing.
Yeah.
Because, oh my god, it's been the craziest week for work since Miss Kathleen came down and, emptied out the whole office.
I think we mentioned that every show.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got released. At least you got let go earlier.
Right. Well, I heard a podcast this week about it was what was it? I think it was Pitch. The show was Pitch from Gimlet Media.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. This guy was pitching an idea. He's got millions of dollars in funding now, but he's basically ex-military.
Yeah.
And he wanted to set up a business that basically took a deep dive on your military experience.
Yeah.
And tried to pull out, really interviewed you and had a database and understanding that said, if you did this in these places, then we know that you did these things. And they put those tasks in civilian terms. So you can get a job. Like if you were a roadside bomb dismantler or something like that, you work well in high pressure situations. You can do technical tasks. You can do something from start to finish without supervision.
Yeah.
They do that stuff and they help you get a job. And they basically work as a recruiter. Like say if I was hiring somebody and I'm a massive corporation, it costs me a lot of money to go through that process if I'm hiring somebody for a big job, right?
Yeah. Wait,
well, they typically charge I think it's $5,000 to the company to get them an employee.
Yeah.
And then they get a 20% bonus, 20% of that person's annual salary, whatever they're hired at.
Yeah.
That's the bonus that they get if they convert to an employee. So. And that's worth it because companies can pay thousands and thousands of dollars just trying to search for that right employee, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is not like a low-level employee. This is a high-level employee they're looking for.
Yeah.
But the point is, what you were just saying, we almost need that for archaeology because people come in and out of it so much.
Yeah.
They're not sure how their skills translate to the real world. And you need to have 2 resumes at all time.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do, of course, now because you had to. But you need to have your archaeology resume that says, here's what I've done and here's what I can do, and we know how to write that.
Yeah.
And then you need to have your civilian resume for that time when, it's a bad year, I'm going to be off for 4 or 5 months over the winter, I need a regular job, and I need a resume that can accommodate that.
Yeah.
And I need to know how to translate walking in the desert or doing shovel tests to the real world.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's like the networking skills I learned at the various bars and conferences I've attended throughout the years means that literally this week I walked in and to an interview and 10 minutes later walked out with a job. Pretty much any job where I can just walk in and talk to someone,
nice.
I almost feel like I have a better than 50-50 chance of getting a job.
Right.
Whereas one of my neighbors, who has never worked in archaeology, and was fired by a text last week or the week before. It's just off to that super slow kind of dazed start. Whereas I'm even though I was super, super, super depressed Tuesday, I still got up and put on my game face and got that job.
There you go. Yeah, well, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's
because one of those things this job teaches you, well, the job of archaeology is. You have to kind of have that gallows humor and just keep moving.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it today when I was out for a smoke. It's I don't like snakes. Who does? And when you, at the beginning of the day or whatever it is, when you come across a rattlesnake, you get that fright.
Yes.
And you can either, stand there and think, oh my God, there's so many other snakes out there between me and the end of the day and get petrified. Or you can just push it out of your mind and keep moving. Yeah. Because that's your job.
That can be tough, though. That China Lake project, we saw 4 or 5 snakes in one day. Oh. Rattlesnakes, Mojave greens.
Oh, my God.
We were all terrified.
You should be.
Yeah. There was a couple of days when I was actually up here in Reno at the Reno Air Races, and they were still working down there. And my chief of operations was texting me saying, oh, my God, we almost don't even want to work today. Now, the place where they were seeing all the snakes, it was an area where you only worked about 4 hours a day anyway because it took 2 hours to get out there. So they were pushing through and doing the whole day, but it was we're not even seeing anything because we're just afraid of snakes right now, So.
And for people who are wondering, why should you be afraid of Mojave greens versus regular rattlesnakes? It's because they're very fast, they're very angry. Yeah. Oh my God, just thinking about that.
I know. It's funny you say that because we had at Civil Air Patrol, we had our squadron game night last night. One of our members are actually my second in command, the deputy commander for seniors.
Yeah.
She's a huge board gamer. She actually goes to all these conventions and stuff, and she's usually an official, and she was at the World Championship for something or other a couple weeks ago in Vegas, and she's always part of these big board gaming things. And she actually is one of the organizers for RageCon here in Reno, the Reno Area Gaming Exposition, I think it's called. She's one of the organizers for that. Cool. And So if you ever want to volunteer, she's always looking for people to help officiate and do things.
Neat.
But anyway, so she brings in like, 40 different games that she's got. She's got games coming out of her ears, and she
What's
brings
her
all
name?
these things.
I mean, can you mention that in here?
I don't even know what the games are.
No, what's her name?
Oh, her name's Steph. Yeah, Sandra Stephenson. We call her Steph. Yeah, she's no, she's all out there. So, and so I only have one game at home. Really, we got a couple games, but I only have one, and I've got 40 versions of it, and it's Monopoly. And of course, I brought just one last night. Yeah, Mark is saying big gamer. Mark Silver was there last night. He was taking pictures. I brought Indiana Jones Monopoly, and it made me think about it because, and I played with my wife played, and then 2 other people played.
Yeah.
So there was 4 of us, and it made me think of it because one of the cards that you get, it says snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? Collect $10.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a fun game. But
Ooh, just thinking about that.
Yeah, snakes are bad.
Yeah.
Snakes are real bad.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Speaking of job searching and skills, it was so weird. Yesterday I just happened to run into someone random, a former coworker of mine from the bookstore. We started a conversation, and then, I got another job lead out of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which is, I mean, you count on that sort of thing happening with archaeology, but you don't necessarily count on that happening in real life.
Yeah, but it does. We just don't realize it,
Yeah.
because archaeology feels so different.
Yeah, and yet so many people out there are like, well, I just had to apply to Home Depot or something for the winter or whatever. It's like, you've got more skills than 90% of your average regular person.
Yeah, yeah.
And it shouldn't keep you from getting winter work.
Yeah?
Although I did learn one thing. Uber Eats is a scam.
A scam? How do you figure?
Oh, the pay structure is a scam.
Oh, I was going to say it looks pretty good from the consumer side.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's not from, but if you're driving, it's not.
Because you get, how much do you even get paid for that,
It's like $5 or $7 a trip.
No matter how far it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practically, that's what it works out to.
Yeah.
And you're on the restaurant schedule. So, like, if you get the order and then you're there for like 2 hours waiting for them to finish, then that's like what, $3 an hour?
Yeah, yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan Gerstner's watching. Ryan, how's it going? Say hi. Give us a like. And I see 7 viewers on there.
What?
Which is great, but for some reason, I don't know if it's only people who like the page, or maybe they're my friends personally or something. I'm not sure how this works, but it doesn't alert me of all the people that are watching. So if you're watching, give us a shout out in the comment and let us know you're there.
Oh, there might be some setting on Facebook that probably hides you.
There might be. I don't know. I'm open on everything on Facebook, so I have to be with all this stuff going on. But anyway,
God.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, so many people are still interested in tablets and how they work. I was thinking, oh my God, we should do a collaboration video where you should demonstrate your workflow from beginning to end.
Collaboration with who?
With me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We should. Yeah, because...
I mean, not necessarily all your tips and secrets, but,
Well, none of it's really a secret, quite frankly. And I'm always willing to, talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, I do all the time. So, but doing a tech video, that's kind of in the works. You're right. And doing it from I guess almost an instructional standpoint. Because another thing with that ScreenFlow software is I can plug it into the computer and you can see the tablet screen airplayed onto the computer. And then all the things I'm doing, you can do a phone too. All the things I'm doing on there, you can see as I tap, it shows a tap indication.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Because the only reason I thought about that is because today, we were talking about this before we went on air. Like, for the first time I saw a conversation about tablets among archaeologists that didn't evolve into someone like screaming, but they cost so much money or they break or blah, blah.
Yeah, there were a handful of downer comments because there are always a little bit of them, but you're right. For the most part, it was a relatively positive discussion. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go check out the North American Archaeological Tech Forum. Somebody actually posted in there, and I don't remember who it was, but I didn't recognize the name. But they're like, hey, is anyone using tablets in the field for archaeology? And I'm like, it's 2017. Are you seriously? Like, most of the time, usually I'm used to seeing, what are people using in the field as far as tablets go? What apps are people using? That's a more common question, and that's a very legitimate question. But are people using tablets? Where have you been? Where are you working? Seriously.
And archaeology is like 2 or 3 steps behind because...
Oh, yeah.
Because I just quit a terrible job where, your main interface, your main computer interface was an iPhone 7 that they gave you. They gave it to all the employees.
Well, the simple fact that somebody's even asking that question at the end of 2017 it tells me that archaeology is more than 3 steps behind. I mean, we are way behind. If somebody has not been exposed to at least the conversation about using tablets in the field, you know, if you haven't seen that online, if you haven't seen it in the field, if you haven't, you know, experienced it at a company or something like that, it's like, what kind of rock have you been working under? You know, I mean, and literally, probably, you know, what kind of cave have you been in for the last like 5 years? Now, it's not, everybody's not doing it, obviously, but I'm just talking about heard of it. You know, have you heard of it? Now, granted, some people don't really know how to write questions on Facebook. They don't really understand how to write stuff. Like I was following another discussion on this new group that I'm a part. Well, it's not new. There's like 30,000 members, but it's like the archaeologist. It's called the Archaeologist official group or something like that. I just found it. Somebody else is posting in there, and it's closed, so you have to get permitted to go in there. And I don't know, it's all weird. But anyway, somebody posted, "Who is the first archaeologist?" Not who was the first archaeologist. And this is another place where our job as educators to the public, which is I feel like our primary job, has completely failed. Because the first answer was Indiana Jones. Now, I know it was a joke, but the first answer was Indiana Jones. Okay, the first serious answers were actually people. Now, I don't know if they were just trying to see them all smart, because most people will tell you that have read anything or think about it, will say Flinders Petrie.
Really?
Flinders Petrie dug a lot in Egypt and things like that, and they say Flinders Petrie because he was the first that we're aware of, because he published and he made his results known.
Well, I mean,
he was the first that used a scientific method to do archaeology. He had a hypothesis. He said, "I think these things are here, and I think this is what will tell us." And he went there and excavated. And then he wrote up his results, and he kept detailed records.
Oh, because I was going to say Thomas Jefferson, but he obviously didn't do a lot of, recording.
And that's the difference. Yeah. That's the difference, because a lot of people were bringing up, I don't know if anybody brought up Jefferson, that's actually really good, but people were going even farther back than that and saying the Romans, there was the Egyptian, Ramses II or something like that, did a lot of revitalization of older tombs that had been coming down, you know, and things like that. And they're calling him an archaeologist, and I was like, you know, maybe preservationist. But archaeology is a subfield of anthropology. Anthropology is the study of humans. Archaeology is specifically the study of dead humans. And more specifically, archaeology is a process. It's pulling things out of the ground or on the surface and interpreting them and then writing up those results and doing it in a reproducible way. That's the science part of it, right? So, you know, if you're going to say, and that's, I didn't actually, I mean, I agreed with the people who were saying Flinders Petrie. That's basically what I said because of that. But I said, what you guys have to realize is archaeology, the ology part is the study of, right? Somebody who just went and dug a bunch of stuff up and put it in the British Museum was not an archaeologist. They were an explorer. In this day and age, they would be considered a looter.
Yay.
And I had people taking me to task for that, going, "Oh, don't call these people looters." And I was like, well, it's a time period specific term. Today we call them looters. 100 years ago we called them explorers. It's like, you know, 100 years ago we called men who dated 13-year-olds and married them upstanding citizens, and now we call them pedophiles.
or we call them justices on the Alabama Supreme Court. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Thanks, Mark. Mark's taking off.
What? No.
See you tomorrow.
My God, you know what's crazy? Even though he wasn't the first archaeologist, the person who really got me first interested in archaeology was when I read Herodotus.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Which I discovered after watching The English Patient.
Well, and he was essentially a historian, right? Yeah. Oh, well, and that's getting close. You know, that's getting real close.
By the way, you're gonna hate me because I was reading more Bruce Trigger.
Oh my God.
And I was like reading through some of the theories, thinking, man, I wonder if anyone has tried to incorporate the modern field of behavioral economics into their archaeology theory.
In what way?
And using it as a predictive model.
Yeah.
I was thinking, man, that would be super cool as a thesis, graduate thesis. Don't steal that.
I'm sure somebody's possibly thought of it in some way or another, but that's the nice thing about a thesis is you just have to tweak one aspect of it, and it's a new idea, you know.
And I still can't believe I'm still thinking about going back to grad school. I think it's because I still, not necessarily to get an improved job, because that's not going to happen, I don't think, but more just because doing all these, all the script writing I've been doing lately, I still love learning about archaeology.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I love about that, too. I kind of miss doing it. I just don't have the time for it. It's, Richie's been writing If you listen to Arc365 podcast right now, arcpodnet.com/Arc365, you can, I think for the last week for sure,
Ooh.
and then probably the rest of this year, it'll say written by Richie Cruz. I'm reading them and I'm recording them, but they were all written by Richie. So yeah, thank him for that.
Yay.
And that's one thing you can do as an archaeologist. I happen to have some money in the bank, and I need time more than I need that money in the bank right now, so I can try to put more money in the bank. That's really all that means. And Richie's got some time right now too, and he's a little flexible, and so I said, let's do this. You know, it's part of the skills. And just while we're on the subject, another thing people can do to keep their archaeology skills honed is do stuff like that. Look for those opportunities. You might not get any money for them sometimes, but look for those opportunities. And a good example of that is I've been asking on the Arc365 podcast for volunteers to keep 2018 going. Yeah. Because I don't want to do it. It's been really hard doing 2017. Really hard. And so when I sought for volunteers, I mean, it took a couple months for people to chime in, but now I've got 2 very solid, dedicated people and 2 others that I'm onboarding. So we might have a team of total of 4. Wow. We could probably use 2 or 3 more, quite frankly. But we've got a team of at least 4 that's going to be writing scripts. I'll still do all the recording and editing because I want it to sound good in this, setup. But I mean, having 4 people keep that thing going.
So there's like the Time Team 365.
I don't know about Time Team, but yeah, pretty much. So, yeah.
By the way, is now the time to mention that the APN is almost at or is at 100,000 subscribers?
Man, by the end of this month, what do we got? A couple more recordings on this show. By the end of this month, we should be at 100,000 monthly subscribers because we were at 96 at the end of November, and at our growth rate, our typical historical growth rate, we should be, quite frankly, we should be well over 100 by the end of this month.
Man, are you going to do like an APN retrospective where you're like, I don't know.
I don't really know either. It's just, we just keep going. We don't have time for a retrospective, we just keep plugging away at it, and I don't know when that would happen. I would probably do it on, well, it'd be a show like this. I've wanted to, whenever my co-founder, Tristan, can find some extra time in his schedule, he's had some, jogging around work schedules and things like that, and probably when he gets a license to drive over there, because right now he's like taking the train and it's killing him. But
really?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got to walk to it and then take the train all the way somewhere and then take the train back and then walk back. Yeah. It takes a lot out of your commute when you've got to take public transportation. I mean, it would be nice to, from one perspective, it's nice to have that time, because if you have the time anyway, it's nice to have a nice, comfortable train with Wi-Fi and get some work done. But on the other hand, you can shave probably half that time off if you just drove yourself, So that's why I think the nice happy medium is self-driving cars.
Yes.
Public transportation goes too roundabout for me and stops too many places, but I want to take it because it's the thing we should do. Yeah. Self-driving car will take me from here to exactly where I need to go in the same time I could do it driving. I just don't have to drive.
Yeah, and for people who are always complaining about they don't feel safe around self-driving cars, do you feel safe on getting on an escalator or getting on an elevator? It's pretty much the same idea.
I know. Well, those have been around 100 years, so we're used to them now. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, one of the things I've wanted to have is like a weekly APN show that we do pretty much like Facebook Live. In fact, now that this is pretty solid medium, we probably would just do it on Facebook Live. We do the split screen where he's in Scotland and I'm here. And we do basically, what's coming up on the APN for this week and what's kind of a status of the APN right now if we want to have anything like that. It would probably be a short show, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Ooh. But we just do it every week on like Sunday or something like that because we usually know with about 99% certainty all the shows that are coming out that week and what their titles are. Yeah. If we don't have those episodes by then, something's gone seriously wrong. But usually we have all the shows for the week, and we can just talk about them because I've at least listened to all of them as well because I've edited them and posted them, and I listen to everything when I edit it. So, so we could talk about here's what's coming up on the APN, and then kind of like the status of the APN. Talk about any promos we're having, things like that. Mention that you can get coffee mugs. Since we're at about 30 minutes, I will mention that you can get coffee mugs. I actually, I think we may need to change the, it still works, the link that says .com/shop. Yeah. But where that takes you now is I actually split our store page up into like 5 different pages, I think. I think it's 5 pages. I had to because it was getting too crowded. Yeah. I just kept adding things to the bottom of it. Yeah. So now there's a folder, so when you go to shop, you'll see the t-shirts that you can buy that are for worldwide delivery. Basically, it's from T-Mill in the UK, so they will ship anywhere in the world. And we don't do anything with that. we get a couple dollars from that, when somebody buys a t-shirt there. So it's nice, but it doesn't really do anything for us.
Yeah.
But go there. Some of the designs are really cool. I've got one of the shirts. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And then on the left side, you'll now see t-shirts U.S. delivery. And that's, I need to actually put some more pictures up there, but that's the t-shirts that I have here in the U.S. They're just too expensive to ship internationally.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, so we'll use the T-mail site internationally, and anything for the U.S. we'll use over here. Oh, somebody hit a heart and it flew across the screen. And then there's a sticker page for all the stickers and sticker packs.
Yeah.
And then there's a coffee mug page that only has one coffee mug on it, because really, one coffee mug to rule them all. Why would you need more coffee mugs? And then there's training. And that's where my free podcast course is, for the 1 hour intro course. And then you can see my consultation, where if you just need to talk to me, if you're actually ready to go, but you just have some questions, you can buy my time for that. And I'll tell you everything I need to know, everything you need to know in the amount of time that you purchase.
Yeah.
And then there's the, what is it? There's the workshop that's actually local here in Reno right now, so not too good for people online. And then there's the full podcast production. So if you just don't want to deal with it, if you've got a company and you want to do a podcast and you're like, we just have content, but we don't want to deal with this, I will record you remotely using the software we're using, and then I'll edit everything here, and I'll add in whatever I need to add in, based on what you need, and then go. So, the heart that we were given was from Inazio, who's one of our youngest fans, and that's Michael Ashley's probably 6-year-old son now.
Neat.
Because I think he was 5 last year.
By the way, how's the
Thanks, Michael.
how's the T-shirt shop work, by the way?
How does it work? What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, because, I did something very irresponsible considering my financial state yesterday. There was a limited editions hoodie I really wanted.
Oh, my God.
And
you need another hoodie.
Well, I only got this one.
That's all you need is one. Yeah.
But, it's like a site where you go, and then you choose the design, and then you get to pick what you want it on.
Oh, nice.
A mug, a shirt, in this case, a hoodie.
Well, Cafe Press is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a Teespring.
I've seen Teespring, yeah.
Yeah. So does buying a shirt through the APN work like that, or something?
No,
else?
not really. This is just a T-shirt place, and Tristan set it up. And I think we're going to do something different later, something similar to what you're saying, where it's just our logo and you can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
The problem with those is I would rather hand pick things that we want to sell that we like. Like I'm in love with this coffee mug. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's like my wife poured me coffee in a different mug the other day. I've got one here and I've got one at home. And I poured it out and put it in this mug. I'm like, I don't want to use those other mugs anymore. In fact, I just want to get rid of them. It's thick. It feels great in my hand. I love it. I wish the logo were a little bigger, but that's fine. But I would rather curate the things that we want to sell and try them out. Like, if I didn't like the T-shirts that I got from locally here that I'm shipping, I wouldn't sell them. I just simply wouldn't sell them if I didn't like them, if I didn't like them myself. And that's one thing. That's one reason why when we started the T-mail site, when Tristan started that, I immediately bought a shirt and had it shipped to me. And those are really high quality, really great shirts, and I love them. But if I was to go someplace like Cafe Press, and now people are, here's a good example. The first stickers we had were these round stickers. I wasn't sure about the quality. And I didn't sell any of them. I was giving them away. We were throwing them at people at the SAAs in Vancouver. And I had people come back to me when we put up the new sticker shop, and they were like, are they as good as those old stickers you had, which were crappy and pretty much fell apart? And I was like, no, sorry about that. These are actually good, high-quality stickers that we put up there because I got them in, I tested them, I threw water on them, I put them on my truck before I ever put them on the store.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why we don't have like a Cafe Press site, because I don't know what the hell kind of crap you're going to get up there. There might be some good stuff, but they might just throw whatever up there, and that's going to be something you have that's crap with the APN logo on it. And guess who you're going to swear at? Not Cafe Press.
Why not?
You're going to be like, oh, the APN is a bunch of crap. Look at this thing that they gave me that broke. Well, that's how people think, man. It's a consumer mentality. So I don't put anything up there. I don't sell anything in any of the places that I actually sell stuff that I haven't either tested, tried, and tried to destroy. It's going to be something that's really quality before I'll recommend it.
Not to turn this whole thing into an ad, but how's the membership going?
It's going all right. Yeah, we've got 14 monthly subscribers, which is a low number, but I really like to see around, I think a guy's comfortable number for us would be around 500 or 600, quite frankly.
Out of 100,000 subscribers, that's like how much percent?
I know. I don't even think it's calculatable. At 2 decimal places, I don't think it registers. I think it rounds to 0. But that's and you know what? I've also got somebody who I'm doing up an ad contract for this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, and while it's a decent, reputable company, I don't want to do it. But you know what? If we don't get enough subscribers, then we're going to put ads on our shows.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. We have to do this. We have to make some kind of money, whether it's through the only 3 ways, well, 4 ways that we can make money and keep this going. So somebody can do this full time. I'm doing this full time right now because I made enough money over the summer that I can kind of do that for a few months before it really gets desperate. So the only way we can do this and keep it going is if, I guess there's 5 ways. There's 1, sell stuff on the website, but that's not sustainable. I'd have to sell too much, and then I'd be in the shipping business. So it's not sustainable for a long term. It's nice for short term though. You know, it's nice as a one leg of the financial stool. The other way is ads, sell ads, and then there's the membership site, which is what I would prefer because members get a little extra. They get all that swag that's on the store. You get all that as a pro member. Yeah. You know, you pay the pro membership, you get a shirt, you get a mug, you get all the stickers, and whatever else we come out with later, you'll get that too. Yeah. That's always the deal. And also, pro members, I've never said this before, but as Team Black starts to ramp up here over the next couple months with our training materials, what was formerly PCS, pro subscribers to the APN are going to convert directly to pro subscribers to Team Black, and you're going to get everything over there. Neat. So, because it's all one company as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So, anyway, the other way is... the 4th way is the podcast production, which has nothing to do with archaeology, but that'll help me stay employed and do these things. So I'm looking at that from an outside perspective, trying to find other things to produce. And then, of course, the 5th way is somebody just hands us a pile of money, but that's not sustainable either. I almost don't even want it. I almost don't even want somebody to say, here's $50,000, keep it going, because when that $50,000 is gone, then what? You have to convert that in that amount of time that you have that money, and it'd be too much pressure. I mean, I'm sure we could do it, but if somebody handed me 50 grand right now and said, make this a real thing, I would have to immediately hire a staff. I would have to immediately, really develop this into a business that's formidable. But I don't think, well, that's possible. I'm tempted to just spend money like some people have recommended to me in the past. I've been tempted to just pay for editing and pay for all these other little things, but that's not sustainable, right? No. It's not sustainable. We need a way to bring money in, not just to spend money out, right? So one thing I would do with that is I would spend some money to take those things off my plate for a little while, so I could figure out how to bring more money in. But we need to develop. Richard Olson is online, and he's saying, how much is your pro membership? So we have 3 levels of membership. It's $5, $10, and $20 a month. And
wait, that's it?
Yeah, we might have to close the door.
Got it.
There's hold on a second here. We're in a public space, so we're closing the door. Anyway, so it's $5, $10, and $20 a month. The $5 a month membership, we will send you an APN sticker, and that's pretty much it. It's the support level. You're just supporting us. You're giving us, what's that, $60 a year? That's nothing for the 19 different shows we give you. There's about 12 or 13 active shows right now. The others are kind of on standby, but we give you quite a bit of content for that price, and I think that's pretty much worth it. And the sticker, I think, goes for like $3, so you get that as well. So that's nice. Then the $10 membership, you get 5 stickers in addition to the, I think it's 4 stickers in addition to the APN sticker. I can't remember. And then that's just a little higher level. Plus, you get access to our private Slack team, where you can communicate with the hosts, you can talk to other members. You also get high-quality downloads. So we export everything as a high-quality MP3 and an Apple lossless and a FLAC file. And you can download those from a secure site that's member access only if you're interested in that. And then the pro membership is $20 a month, and that includes all those things, plus the coffee mug, the t-shirt, plus what we're calling learning content. And right now there's only one thing. There's going to be another thing up there shortly. But I've got plans to record with some other people. We're bringing in experts to basically do 30 to 60 minute long video or audio segments on educational topics. And they're only going to be accessible by pro members. Pro members, and then pro members of Team Black as well once that gets rolling again.
And one presumes they're more relevant to your average up-and-coming archaeologist than maybe Wikipedia.
Right. Quite frankly, it's, some people have told me that the pro membership is too expensive. And my only response to that is, right now, I'm really hoping people see it as a way to support us. A way to support us so we can try to develop these things and bring more stuff out. It's just a different level of support that you're looking at, you know. And $20 a month, I mean, that's really not that much if you were to, I mean, for the amount of content that we're giving. So, and Richard says it sounds like a great deal. Thanks. And I'm glad you think that way. Thanks a lot, Richard.
I mean, because I was talking about it to that person I ran into yesterday. It's like, you know, the Slack team. It's like, if you're a student and you're on that Slack team, would you be able to do something like ask host, you know, what's it like in the field? Or maybe, you know, what should I be putting on my resume?
Right.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Slack team is wide open.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
So all the stuff you normally ask people or go to a conference to ask or see, you can just ask over the convenience of the internet.
Yeah, and when you look at it, the Slack team is really a curated sample of people who are really professional archaeologists, because these people are paying the $10 to $20 a month. That's the two levels they get access to it. They're paying $10, $20 a month for access to that Slack team, and that that means they're invested. You know, they're really into this thing, and they're gung ho, you know, guns a-blazing, and they're probably going to be able to answer your questions pretty well. And not only that, but it's not just the 14 or I guess 12 or 13 members we have that are in the Slack team, and some are more active than others. Yeah. But it's also all the show hosts are also in there. Yeah. And most of our show hosts are graduate level, very experienced archaeologists.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you know, you can ask them questions. Yeah. It's not just like, hey, I enjoy your show or whatever. Yeah. But it's like all this stuff that I was clueless about when I first got in this industry. Mm-hmm. Like how to write a resume.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That took so long.
Hey Gail, thanks for watching. So yeah, it's I don't know. This wasn't an ad. Well, I guess we won't be doing any ads for the APN since that whole last 15 minutes was an ad for the APN. It wasn't intended to be. This isn't NPR, you know, pledge drive.
Lies.
Until we have tote bags, it's not a pledge drive. I think that's the official designation of pledge drive, is you have tote bags. Are they called grocery bags now? Are they still called tote bags? Because everybody uses them for grocery bags.
That's true.
My wife's going through our grocery bags the other day in the car when we were getting rid of our Prius, and she's like, I'm throwing all these away. And she's like, what are all these conference bags that you never use? What's this, Great Basin Conference, SHA? What is all these? I was like, no, we're not getting rid of those. Those are collectible tote bags.
Oh my God.
So.
Oh, that reminds me. So what are you and your wife thinking about, you know, the Chevy?
So yeah, we got rid of our Prius. If you got to sell a car, I can't recommend CarMax more than enough. It's just amazing. We just didn't need it anymore. But coincidentally, as we were selling it, it kind of prompted us. A friend of ours was going out of the country for a few months and loaned us a Chevy Volt, and we love it. We haven't put gas in it since he gave it to us a few weeks ago. Really? Yeah, because she can charge it at work. Plus, we go to the hotel across the street and charge it up. Because it's nice that it's a hybrid, not in the sense that our Prius was a hybrid. Our Prius used the electric and the gas engine simultaneously. Unless you're under like 20 miles an hour, then it would just go electric occasionally. But if you got into the gas, like stepped on it, it kicked in the gas engine. Yeah. The Volt, though, is 100% electric until that battery dies. Yeah. Unless you switch it over. You can switch it over manually. But it's 100% electric until that battery dies, then it seamlessly switches to the gas engine. Yeah. And it's amazing. I love it. It's super amazing. I mean, you only get about... in-town driving, you only get about 50 miles out of a charge, and it takes about if you're using an official like charging station like is over at the El Dorado, it takes like 6 hours I think to charge it up from dead. Yeah, that's not a rapid charging station. You can pay for those somewhere, but this is totally free and they don't care. Like we just park over there and it's nothing. And then when she did it at work, she just ran it in through the door and plugged it into a wall outlet, the like 20-foot cord that comes with it. And she was plugged in for like 8 hours the whole time she was there. And she said she didn't look at how much battery percentage she got, but her distance to empty went up only 10 miles in like an entire day plugged into a regular wall outlet.
Has it lessened your desire for a one of those super rare, hard to get Model 3 Teslas?
Lessened my desire? I don't think it's lessened it. I still know that the next car that we actually purchase will be a fully electric car. I'm definitely on board with that. I mean, I would be okay with a hybrid, only in the sense that my only fear with a true hybrid like the Volt, where you're not using the gas engine unless you need it, is I told her, I said, oh, Ed Linger's watching. Welcome, Ed. The only problem with a true, with a hybrid like this, and I told her, I said, maybe you shouldn't charge it up every day. Maybe you should charge it up over the weekend, and then drive it on electric for the first like 3 days of the week and then go gas, because if you don't ever replace that gas, it'll go bad.
Oh, that's true.
And it'll destroy your engine. You know, and that's not our car. So, hopefully Seth isn't watching this right now. Anyway, let's talk a little more about archaeology because you know, I think archaeology is going to be on electric vehicles probably within 10 years. Because the only real electric field vehicle that I'm aware of right now is the Tesla Model X, but that's like $150,000 to $200,000 car.
That's
it's
not
an
really
SUV.
off-road.
What? No, it's all-wheel drive. It's got a nice clearance. It's got a 260-mile range, I think. It's ridiculous. I've looked at it. It would be an amazing field vehicle. It's not full like four-wheel drive low for sure, but how many times will we use that in the field? You know, if you're using four-wheel drive low in the field, you've gone the wrong direction. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true.
I mean, we've used it. I've used it.
Yeah.
But in the years that I've been doing this out in the Great Basin, it's maybe been twice. You know, if that. And I probably didn't need it the times I did use it.
Yeah, but how many God, would you trust a Model X to your average field tech?
Well, I mean, it's just a vehicle when it comes down to it, and it's insured. So,
True.
you know, I mean, if you can, but here's the thing: nobody's ever going to put one in the field right now. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
But my point with that is they're out.
Yeah.
That's why I said 10 years.
Yeah.
And Tesla's coming out with, you know, other commercial vehicles.
Yeah.
And when they come out with stuff, I mean, it's only a matter of time before the market catches up to that. And other vehicles that are SUVs. I mean, there's like the Highlander. There's other SUVs that are hybrids right now.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why a field crew shouldn't be using at least a hybrid vehicle for most of their stuff, especially like back east. Yeah. I mean, how much four-wheel driving are they doing? They're just driving from the hotel to the other site, you know, and they just need a place to store their stuff.
You know, I could.
Gail asked if he could do surface collection for that $150,000. It should be able to, right? I should be able to get a pumpkin spice latte out of the dash. I think that's just for Pam Enlow right there if she's watching ever.
Oh my God, you never did answer this, but wait, did we already talk about your coffee maker?
No, we did not. I know. So the Prius money we took, I can't recommend this more to any field tech because it's amazing. But it was like $900. So, but we took part of the Prius money. We put 90% of it in the bank.
Yeah.
And then we took a healthy chunk of it and put it towards this new. It's called the line of espresso machines is called a super automatic espresso machine.
Yeah.
And this is the Gaggia Anima Prestige, I think, if you wanted to look it up online. I had a coupon code for it, so we got it for like I think $700 and change, and delivery was free. But this thing is ridiculous. It's got a little milk carafe in there you put in there, and we're making, you know, lattes and just regular cups of coffee, which is basically a double shot espresso with hot water, an Americano.
Wait, so you just put that underneath and then it all comes out?
You just push the button and it comes out. It's done.
Wow.
It's kind of amazing, and it tastes good. I've had ones before that did the same thing, but they didn't taste good.
Yeah.
You know, they were weird on the proportions. But once you can fully program this thing, so if you want a longer shot or you like a shorter shot of espresso with a little less water in it, or you want your milk to put out, you know, 8 ounces before it stops or 12 ounces before it stops for whatever average size cup you're using, you can program all that. So then it's just literally one touch and you're done.
Yeah. Oh my God, too bad we can't show the audio listeners what we're talking about.
I know. Well, we can't show the video ones either because we don't have it here.
I know.
But no, anyway, it's great. I appreciate anything in my life, and going back to archaeology, I appreciate anything in my life that can automate something or make it more efficient so I can concentrate on doing the real things. Yeah. That's the big reason I go digital in the field is I want to concentrate on doing the archaeology. I want to concentrate on doing the report and doing the write-up. I mean, how many times have we sat in an office, anybody listening to this, and just typed? And you're literally just transcribing field records. That's not archaeology.
And like God, a lot of these Facebook group debates usually center on, well, it's easier for people in the office, but when I'm in the field, it takes 10 minutes longer to write this site report. Yeah. But what actually costs more money?
I know. And Gail's got to go because she has crying kids. I can understand that.
Not yay, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but thanks for joining in. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it's I don't know. People don't realize we spent we spent $800 on an espresso machine. Yeah. But I'm looking at the long term on that. Yeah. I'm looking at the fact that I was going to Starbucks or a coffee bar or another coffee shop, probably 4, 5, 6 times a week.
Really?
Quite frankly, well, I walk right by them. When I walk here, and when I go to the Civil Air Patrol, which is usually at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, I usually stop on the way in there. But this whole last week and a half, I've just made one at home before I left, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
now I'm going through beans, sure. I'm going through milk, sure. I'm going through soy milk, sure. I'm doing all these things, and now we bought a whole bunch of the Kirkland Signature eggnog liqueur, like the eggnog that's got liquor in it that Costco sells.
Oh.
It's delicious, and you mix that about 60-40 with the light soy milk that we bought, and put that in the carafe, and make these eggnog lattes at home. Oh Jesus, I'm dreaming about it right now. Yeah, I haven't spent a dime at Starbucks, and I've only gone to coffee bar a couple times, and it's usually for a meeting.
Yeah.
You know, Richie and I have gone there a few times, and I'll go up there for a meeting. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
But I'm not going up there because I just want another cup of coffee in the morning. You know, something like that.
Oh man, I'm super sad. One of my favorite baristas in the entire town is like moving with a boyfriend, you know, east, and she's like, "Oh, I'm leaving Richie," and I'm like, "Damn it," you know. It's
tough when your good barista leaves.
Yeah. She was really good, actually.
Well, and that's one thing that makes me sad about these things is I often don't just like, unless I'm actually going somewhere, I often don't just stop into a coffee shop. I like to hang out in a coffee shop and go there. So I'll still do that occasionally, you know, when I'm doing it. Like Global Coffee here in Reno at the basement of the old post office is a really cool place to just sit and hang out. Yeah. You know, and I'll still do that.
Interesting, because when I think of going to a coffee shop, I usually don't hang out there a lot. I usually just go there to chat with people. Not like that's like a goal, but it's just like, you know, it's kind of like when I was working at the bookstore. It's just like something you do. Yeah,
totally.
It's like, how did I get half my jobs in archaeology? Just by sitting there and chatting with people.
Yeah. Yep. It's fun. So anyway, we should probably start wrapping this up. Wow. Especially since we're down to one viewer, and that might be me.
Oh, it's crazy. We've been on for an hour?
I've got 52 minutes on my recorder.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yep. And I started this right as the intro was going, not when the live stream started. So.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. So what do you got? I'm trying to think if there was anything else this week. My broadcast was interrupted. I hope the internet signal wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's good.
I'm. This last week I can mention one thing.
Yeah.
Thoroughness on site records. Because the project that you and I did out at the mine this summer, I got a call back, and they're so far behind. There's like one person at this Forest Service office that's reviewing these records.
Yeah.
So it's been probably a month and a half or 2 months almost since I turned the report in.
Yeah.
With the site records, and she finally came back and was like, "Oh, I've got some questions on this." She's like, "I hate to be bearer of bad news, but you know, because there were 2 sites that we couldn't find, right?"
Yeah.
So let me just give you the backstory, because there's nothing confidential here. We were supposed to find 3 sites. We were trying to find them. So because back in I think they were all recorded in the 80s, weren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe one was last recorded like in 2006, but the first time it was recorded was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we had these older site records, and we're trying to find these 3 sites because they were left unevaluated because of some statements made on the site records. They were like, there could be some subsurface deposits here, so we're going to leave this unevaluated because we're not going to go put a shovel in the ground right now.
Yeah.
So they wanted us to go do shovel tests, see what was there, and try to find them. One of the sites was easy to find.
Yeah.
That was easy, and it's significant, done, no problem. The other 2 sites, we looked. So the 3 pieces of information we had to find this site was the coordinates on the original site record. Now, coordinates, for anybody that doesn't know, the UTM coordinates listed on a site record from like anything prior to the late 90s, early 2000s, was derived from a paper map.
Yeah, they like hand plotted it and then just wrote down the UTMs.
Hand plotted it, and some of those ones are hundreds of meters off.
Yeah.
Right? Plus, you have to look at the fact that is the coordinate system, the datum that they used, NAD 83, NAD 27. If it's prior to 1983, you know it's NAD 87 or NAD 27. But if it's after 1983, there was a mix of ones being used, and oddly, confusingly enough, no one ever writes that on the site record. Like they never wrote what system they used, what datum they used to come up with their coordinates. So we were out there. We tried both.
Yeah.
We tried NAD 83 and NAD 27 with both the coordinates listed on the site record.
Oh wait, did they use a state like a state one? One of the state ones?
No, that's not the problem.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the problem is.
Yeah.
So we used those, couldn't find the site. There's nothing on the ground. I had on my tablet, I had the site records, and I had the BLM, the map that the Forest Service gave us, telling us where the sites were, right?
Yeah,
where they had them plotted.
Yeah.
We looked there, matching up topographic references. We were looking at these like aspen groves and the beaver pond and all this other stuff, trying to line up and find this site, right? We're like, well, the coordinates are clearly off. let's just try to find this geographically.
Yeah.
Still couldn't find it. And then the other complication was the massive vegetation growth that year. So so she's like, so my GIS guy, I told him, I said, listen, just, draw a 200-meter circle around the point where the point that I give you, and I gave him the point for the sites.
Yeah.
And we'll just call that good. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have drawn a little more accurate area of where we actually surveyed, because at least one of those we surveyed back and forth a few times.
Yeah.
And I should have been more explicit about that. So she wants me to update the site records to say where we actually looked, and then I've got to get a hold of my GIS guy, spend a little more money, and have him fix the shapes and say, well, this is actually what we did here. Yeah. And I'm basically probably just going to draw on the map that he gave me and say, make the shapefile say this, and do that. So that's all I'm saying is be overly thorough. And I thought I was. I just had too much stuff going on, and I just missed it. I didn't explain it well enough. Because she's like, also, why didn't you do shovel tests of those sites? I was like, well, first off, we did use all the resources, because she was concerned that we didn't use all the, like, we just went to the coordinates, because that's what I said. Which is valid that she thought that, because that's what I told her we did. Yeah. But, so we went to the coordinates, we did all that stuff, and she's like, then why do you use shovel tests? I'm like, well, we didn't do shovel tests because we didn't find a place to shovel test. Like, we couldn't shovel test across the entire landscape. We didn't have a permit for that, So we had a permit to shovel test on the sites, which we never found. So, anyway, that's just my one final archaeology comment of the day.
Interesting. What happened to those strings? You still got them in storage?
In my storage unit.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
As long as I have room for them, I'm not going to get rid of them, because, we might be going back to that one site next year and doing some more thorough testing. Yeah, I mean, that's what's required. That's what I recommended. It's whether or not the mine wants to pay for it. Yeah. They finally just paid me for that project 2 days ago.
Really? Yeah. Oh, thank God it didn't bounce. They didn't go out of business again.
Well, luckily they do EFT. They don't send me a check anymore. They just deposit it into my account. I set that up right away. Yeah, I was like, don't send me a check. Yeah.
Oh my God! And maybe by that time, Elko will have 2 Japanese restaurants, unless they already do.
I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out next year.
It's crazy. They have a wine bar.
They do, don't they? We never went there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went out with my buddy that one night.
Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I should have gone there.
See?
Yeah. We'll have to plan a week in Elko next time for our 2-day job. And we will bring a metal detector, but we're not going to tell anyone why, because we've talked about it enough.
Lies.
All right, I think that's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. If you are listening to this after the fact and you're still here, you're an amazing human being.
Yay.
And please leave us comments. But be sure to like and share and subscribe everywhere where you saw this, on the APN Facebook page, on the, wherever we happen to put it. Yeah. And also
on the Happy Archaeology Fun Time YouTube channel.
There you go. And don't you have a Facebook page now?
Oh, wait. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have a fan page. I mean, I haven't been advertising a lot yet since I'm still teaching myself about it, but, eventually.
Are you posting these up there?
Of course.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Just the YouTube link onto the page, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, so check that out. I'm sure if you search in Facebook, Happy Archaeology Fun Time, it'll come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've done this yet, but you can go in and customize the URL, too, so it's...
Ooh.
So it's not some random Facebook URL.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be unintelligible series of numbers if you don't do that.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so go ahead and do that. But if you just search Happy Archaeology Fun Time, I'm sure you'll find it.
Hopefully.
How many other things could possibly be called that? Seriously. Yeah, nothing.
True.
It's very unique.
Well, it's interesting, because when I type up Digtech, a whole bunch of other stuff comes up.
Well, that's because it's loosely related to Digitech, which is a whole line of musical equipment.
Oh my God, it is.
Yes, I didn't know that when I made Digtech.
Oh my God, I was actually looking at one of their pedals that supposedly helps you practice.
Yes. Exactly. So, all right. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot, and like I said, follow us everywhere you can find it. Thank you.
Yeah, and hopefully we make archaeology more magical.
I know.
At some point.
Making archaeology magical again.